Hello everyone and welcome back to another Getting Stuff Painted, my bi-weekly update, give or take, on the miniatures that have been getting painted for the games we cover here on the channel. I don't feel like the selection is as big as the last couple of updates, but it's all I've had time to do really. Kind of been focusing on the Batman miniature game, but going from left to right we have we have a miniature from Crisis Protocol, we have a little bit of Fallout Wasteland Warfare, a huge chunk of the Batman miniature game, mostly the Suicide Squad releases, the James Gunn film themed miniatures, trying to get them out of the way before the new starter box ships. In fact, you'll probably be seeing this after the pre-orders close, so if they're quick on their delivery, it probably isn't too many days away from arriving by the time you see this. So really trying to focus on getting those done, although there's quite a few minis. A little bit of extra thrown in as well, and then right at the end we have the final two miniatures from one half of the Bot War 2nd Edition starter set that was unboxed on the channel a little while ago. So as I inevitably have to bend over and get a ball to throw for my dog, here is the proof. It happens every week, or every other week when I record these. Take a short break and then move back to talk about these. Alright, a few throws later, you might actually be able to hear her panting under the table here. She is still not satisfied, and I even threw the ball for ages before recording this, thinking that'll make sure that she doesn't want me to do it while recording, but nope, she associates these videos in particular with playtime. Anyway, let's talk about, very quickly, the hand ninjas for Marvel Crisis Protocol that either Elektra or the new Shadowlands Daredevil can summon. They've already been in a battle report that you hopefully have seen if you're interested. I put off doing this miniature, one because it was quite a behemoth task, two, it was a pain in the you-know-what to put together. I don't like how the ninjas are slotted into each other, it's a little awkward looking if you look at the back. And three, I just didn't think I would do a great job on how they look officially. I mean, it turned out okay, but not super great. The colours don't match up to the official paint job as well as I would have liked either. But as per usual, everything you're seeing here is based in the Grey Seer Citadel base paint, and then mostly painted with contrast, but not entirely. In this case, there's a lot of Blood Angels red, obviously, for all the garb, or gi, is that what it's called, that the assassins themselves are using. Black Templar for the black sections, and then a little bit of Genestealer hide on the purplish bits. The smoke is just the Grey Seer paint with non-oil over the top. I don't know how close we can really get. That looks in focus. So it's an impressive looking mini, which is a shame for how easy they are to just remove from the table because it's only got 2 health and like 2 defense dice. They're fancy. I preferred the shield grunts, and I preferred Nick Fury to Elektra as well. I know I talked about the Elektra miniature last time when I showed her off, but that Elektra miniature I just do not like. The hand ninjas are fine, I just don't think that I was up to the task of how good they were supposed to look. Oh, actually, you know what? There's one thing. The assembly instructions are not clear, for one, but this assassin slash ninja, the chain on his sickle and whatever, it is broken, and I don't know if that was... Oh, actually, it looks like the wash has made it seal, so I don't want to break it again. It came in 2 bits, and I think it was supposed to, but I'm not 100% sure because the assembly instructions are a little vague. So it didn't fit snugly, but I kind of tried my best to make it super glue, and then when I put over the silver paint and wash, it looks like it's stuck together now. I don't know, I can't tell where the break is. The break is right there. But yeah, it was kind of just hanging off. And again, I'm not sure if that's by design or not. So if anyone else has assembled these, let me know. Was this chain in a single piece for you? Or was it in 2 bits? And the dog now wants me to throw a ball again. Alright, so next we have Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Don't take these as indications of what will definitely be in Season 2, incidentally. I have a big backlog of Fallout miniatures. I'm getting through the things I feel like doing that isn't necessarily where the story is going to go when Season 2 does eventually start. But we have 3 to talk about. One I've shown off technically already. It's another Assaultron from the additional Protectron and Securetron, or Protectron and Assaultron, there we go, box that I discovered while I was spring cleaning. So I painted this one up similar to how I did the other ones way back in the day. I think I used Militarum Green, but this time I went for like the stealth ones. So I used Black Templar and then a dry brushing of the normal Blood Angels paint over some of the contrast as well to make it look like it's in the process of firing its eye laser. Because I think that's what that pose is. Lead Belcher Silver and non-oil and Agrat Surfshade to make it look like wasteland griminess, as you would come to expect. So I think there's 2 more of those to go from that box. So then we have, let's do this here. We have Joshua Graham, otherwise known as the Burned Man. Apparently he was like a pre-order bonus or something, so not in focus. There we go, I think. Yep. He was a pre-order bonus on the Modiphius website for any of like their New Vegas wave, but I actually just found him for sale like super cheap on a UK retailer's website, so I was like, okay, I'll pick that up, why not? It's a fun miniature. It has unique stats, unique weapon, and an interesting story. Even if you don't play the expansion that he appears in, you hear about him as kind of like a mythos in the base game of New Vegas. So yeah, Joshua Graham. Space Wolves Grey for his denim jeans, Black Templar for his body vest. It's just the Grey Seer base for his shirt and bandages with Agret Surfshade and Null Oil over the top, silver for the gun. It's a neat little mini. He doesn't have a super themed base, really. I've forgotten the name of the expansion that you meet him in, but it's kind of like it's the one where it's all like tribal and whatnot. They could have done something more unique for his base for that, but either way, he is done. Will he be appearing eventually? Who knows? He's, you know, now that he's done, he's an option. That's what you can say about these things. Not necessarily for sure, just an option. Speaking of which, this is another miniature I just found cheap and decided to pick up for fellow Wasteland Warfare. This is the model representation of the mysterious stranger who is represented in the game, but I believe you have to take certain tiers of the perk and then he can appear in battle and help you. But again, I kind of painted him to look like the Vault Tech representative from the start of Fallout 4. Not really his addition to his real colours. It's a skeletal horde with Agret Surfshade over the top to get that trench coat colour. A little bit of snakebite leather on the rim of his, is that a trilby? What kind of a hat is that? Lead Belcher for his pistol, and he's on a cobblestone base, so that's just Basilicanum Grey and Lead Belcher, not Lead Belcher, sorry, Null Oil on top. He might appear, I don't know if he'll be appearing in the form that uses the perk, or if he'll actually appear as a person. There's a Modiphius kind of offshoot Fallout RPG where they have archetype characters. They're in the app as well, and one of them actually uses the Mysterious Stranger miniature for that, and that might be good inspiration to bring in a character. Just use some other character stat card, but use that model to represent them on the table. But we'll see. So now we have the Suicide Squad, mostly, not entirely, releases for the Batman miniature game. Did King Shark last time, of course, the new King Shark. This time, we'll just go in the order they are rather than the order I painted them. We'll start with Peter Capaldi, the Thinker, who's not really a Suicide Squad member, even if he does work for the government. Spoilers. But we have Peter Capaldi, who's just in his brown suit and weird kind of black gold blue shirt. I don't even remember if he was wearing that in the movie, but again, I'm trying to match up the official paint job. Not much to say about him. He's pretty basic. Guilliman flesh for his skin tone. Did little dips of Calgar blue on his Thinker things. I think in the comic books the Thinker changes into a statue at will, which is why he's called the Thinker. This guy, not so much. He's just a dude in a suit. And more importantly though, he's a cheap option for a Suicide Squad team, which they were sorely missing because most of their team, it has the same kind of issue the Bat Family does, although not quite as bad, where every member you can take is so expensive you're always going to have not enough people. Those two kind of go together, so let's quickly cover the Weasel, who has not been officially painted, so I just kind of winged it, which is what we're going to have to do for the Suicide Squad releases, because it looks like they're just not getting updated with the painted versions, which is very annoying. So for the Weasel, I wasn't sure what to do for him. I used Wildwood and didn't like how it looked, so I dry brushed some brown over the top with a little bit of orange as well, mixed in, because the model itself doesn't have a lot of definition on his fur. So I was like, well, what can you do? And I settled for that, and I think it looks okay. It looks like there's a bit of definition where there isn't. And I tried to give him the derpy eyes he has in the movie. I think it kind of works, I guess. And all these guys have Starros on their bases, which I talked about for King Shark, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Did the bases in the exact same way as King Shark. So then, let's cover these two then. Let's cover Peacemaker and Eagly. Eagly was actually one of the first ones I did, which is why his base looks slightly different, because I wasn't sure what colour I wanted to use for his base, and I ended up experimenting a bunch, and inevitably just going back to contrast paint, but by then it already looked a different shade. So that's why his base looks a little bit different. Him himself though, or he himself, Wildwood, that's just the base colour for his face. The beak is Yandin yellow, and snakebite leather for the stump. Warp lightning for whatever that is, just leaves, I guess. It looks like moldy cabbage. So he's just Peacemaker's loyal assistant. You can only bring him if you have Peacemaker in the list. That goes for if you have Peacemaker in the Batman list as well. But Peacemaker himself, much more impressive. Let's try and get him in focus. Blood Angel's red for his red bits. Talisar blue for his gloves, boots, the frills, etc. His jeans, I think that was just Aggressor shade over base coat, just to give it a slight tanned colour. I'm pretty sure. Gilliman Flesh again for his skin tone. Leadbelcher Silver for his toilet seat helmet. And then the base has a little bit of detail on it, like a tire, there's a crowbar and like empty cans of beer or energy drink or whatever. I don't know if that's a reference to the TV show or not. But either way, pretty happy with who he turned out. And again, he can be in Suicide Squad or the Batman crew. Oh, and his symbol is just the Yandin yellow, and tried to pick out the actual bird with just more of the grey sear. Didn't work as well as I would like, but again, from this kind of distance, I think it looks okay. Okay, before we continue talking about the rest, I need to throw a ball again. The things we do for our doggos. Alright, let's see what else. From the Suicide Squad wave releases, well, technically, partially from the Suicide Squad release in this case, we have Vigilante, who apparently was actually a villain in Arrow. I guess I didn't watch that season. Or I did and just have forgotten. But this is obviously, it came out as part of the Suicide Squad release, but it's part of the Dark Knight release set, so it's based more on the comic book version, not the TV show. Had a little bit of a struggle with him. His arms didn't fit snugly in during the assembly process, which in turn made it hard to track where the patterns are in his costume. So this is a case where the further back he is, the better he's going to look, because the closer you get, the more uneven the lines are going to be obvious, or obvious that they are uneven, and it's not going to look as good. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. Black Templar is obviously the main colour here. Calgar blue and grey sear for the white with wash over the top. And that's about it. And the same colours on his base. I added a little bit of blood just for atmosphere, I guess, because he's just standing on, I don't know what that is, just a big bit of stone or something. But he's pretty neat. Oh, and that's Blood Angel's red for his visor as well. So last but not least from the Suicide Squad so far, as the dog just looks at me, the things we do for our dogs, throwing balls while trying to record videos. We have the other Polka Dot Man. Now I do think the Polka Dot Man that exists as part of the Dark Knight series, which we covered a long time ago, is better than this one, but this one is cheaper and is obviously fitting the theme of the Suicide Squad. So for him, it is just Aggressor shade over the base coat to create that kind of off colour that his costume was in the movie, and then just picking out the polka dots on it with various greens, blues, yellows, orange, etc. Snakebite leather for its gauntlets with a little bit of Leadbelcher silver for the metal parts, and the base again done in the exact same way as all the other Suicide Squad members. So with his completion, still got the Harley to do, still got Bloodsport to do, still got TDK to do, and I feel like I'm forgetting one. Oh, Sebastian the Rat and Ratcatcher 2. There we go. I was actually forgetting two, but they kind of come as a pair. So that is still on the to-do list for finishing the Suicide Squad wave. But I'll probably run out of time prior to the new starter set coming out, so we'll interchange between the two probably. Last miniature from the Batman miniature game, which is not connected to that at all. It's an old miniature. A while back when I did buy the Cobra Cult stuff, I also got the blister pack that has another bunch of their basic soldiers, because they have the minion rules, so you can take up to 3 of each. And I never got around to painting them, and I really should. So I got started, did this super quick. Warp Lightning, Gryph-hound Orange, Leadbelcher Silver. Honestly, it took like 10 minutes, and it looks okay. And he's a minion, so ideally you want a bunch of them. I am kind of curious how multiple of them would do, to be honest. Oh yeah, and Black Templar for his, whatever that is, pouch of bullets, or whatever. So yeah, I've got one of these, another one with the sword, and another one with the knife, although they're less of a priority because the carbines are pretty good. Alright, we have reached the end of the models painted this time around. 2 more of the Coils faction for Bot War 2 from the starter set. That is one half of the starter set completely done. They've already been in a battle report if you haven't seen. This is Shogun, and this is, I'm trying to remember his name, it might be Deep State. I think that was the one with the single cannon on his back. What was he called? I don't remember his name. His name is definitely Shogun though. So Shogun is the largest lad, so let's talk about him. It's the exact same style and paint as the other ones I've done so far, so if you want detail, go listen to me talk about them in the previous updates. But I will say I was curious how well it would take to a model this big, because this is the largest single bot war miniature I have, ignoring any combiners. So I was a little bit curious how it would take. I had to do a couple of layers in places to make it stand out a bit better, I feel. Dry brushed again with grey as well to try and pick up some of the edges for highlights. Not sure how well it did, but it's an impressive looking mini. Like, I know we sort of assembled it during the unboxing, but seeing it actually finished, it's very nice looking. I think it's definitely the standout miniature from that starter set, so I'm glad it didn't come out too terrible, although I'm noticing a little bit of dust right there. It's gone now. And he must turn into some kind of like helicopter, because I'm pretty sure this is the blades, like it would split apart here. These are the wings with missiles on them. These are the engines. This is like the front compartment of a helicopter. So I'm pretty sure that's what he turns into, like a really big chopper of some type. Which is pretty neat that you can pick out those kind of details in them as well. And last but not least, again, possibly called Deep State, I don't quite remember. Painted in the exact same way. He's got two shoulder cannons. Other than that, he's got like Wolverine claws as weapons. Not sure what he would change into. I guess maybe he's not got blades though. I was going to say the front of him looks like a helicopter front as well, but no, it's probably some kind of like APC, since he just has the cannons rather than anything else. Because he has got, pardon me, he's got wheels I think behind here. Yeah, that's one of the few cases where I can't tell what he turns into. Like I can't even get a hint of whether like it's a plane or a tank. I don't know. It must just be an APC, I think, or a Jeep perhaps. But usually you can see the tires, and I'm not seeing them. Either way though, so those were, again, I have to, this FCC guidelines, they were provided for free, everything else was not. And that is going to do it for another painting update. Next time you can expect to see more Suicide Squad, depending on how long it takes me until I film another one of these. You might see some of the new starter set for Batman. I hope that it's out sharpish. The models for it look great. Crisis Protocol, I think there's new Black Order releases, but that's not until June. Mostly it's the update cards. We can definitely expect to see some Fallout Wasteland Warfare. And I've been putting it off for long enough. I really need to get started on painting some basic hollow enemies from the Dark Souls board game, so we can finally get around to playing that. Now that the other half of this table, kind of up this end, is cleaned and Bardsung is tidied away, that leaves the room open for something else. The next long-term thing I think is going to be filmed over there is the Dark Souls board game, so I really need to get those miniatures painted. Although in the interim there might be a couple of other one-offs as well. We'll see. And other models wise, not sure. I think Suicide Squad and some Dark Souls stuff and some Fallout stuff is the only things I can confirm for sure. If you want to show me what you've been painting, feel free to do so on Twitter. The link is in the description box below. Even if it's a game I don't play, I don't mind. And I will see you again in another 2 weeks-ish. Let's see, the ish is like underlined this time, I think. And we'll talk a bit more about what's been getting done. Thank you for watching though. Hope you have a good day. See you next time. Ta for now.